South Africa's headline consumer inflation slowed to 4.4% year-on-year in April from 4.5% in March. Data from Statistics South Africa shows on a month-on-month basis, prices rose 0.6% from a 0.8% increase in the previous month. Core inflation, which excludes the prices of food, non-alcoholic beverages, petrol and energy, accelerated by 4.1% year-on-year from a growth rate of 4.4% in March, while on a monthly basis, prices grew 0.3% from 0.7% previously. In the meantime, South Africa's 6th Parliament begins today with the swearing-in of members and the election of the state president and principal officers of the legislature, with the economy barely escaping junk status, unemployment in double digits, over 25%, and of course crime at a high level. The economy and what will be done to improve it is what's on the minds of many. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, is at the Parliament today and brings us what some of the parliamentarians had to say.
President Cyril Ramaphosa, his wife Dr. Tsepo Motsepe, and new and returning members of Parliament arrived right on time for the swearing-in ceremony ahead of the election process. Expectedly, the second largest opposition party, which has grown its numbers in Parliament from 25 to 44, made a grand entrance as usual. Chief on many wish lists is the economy and how to make it better. We asked some of the lawmakers what their parties will be pushing for in the 6th Parliament.
We're going to ensure that minority groups in South Africa receive equal treatment. Therefore, we say we have to abolish affirmative action. We have to abolish black economic empowerment. We must also ensure that we build the economy. The economy must grow in South Africa, because one of the biggest crises in South Africa is actually the fact that we have people who are unemployed.
We are going to be pressurizing them to stick to the Constitution, to return to the Constitution, because they have not been respecting the Constitution, and that's why the country is in a mess that it is in at the moment.
There are a number of issues that we pursued last year. One of the issues being the issue of medical cannabis that we got through, and now it's law that cannabis can be prescribed for medicinal purposes. We want to take that a step further in terms of hemp, the cultivation of hemp, because we believe that it is a multi-million rand economic booster to our country, and we are importing hemp when we can grow hemp. So that's something that we'd like to do, because it would create jobs and it will boost the economy. The issue of land, we are still going to pursue very, very vigorously and oppose any expropriation of land without compensation.
Ultimately, what we are going to do going forward is we want to table the jobs bill. We want to make sure that cabinet is cut, and we want those who are corrupt to find jail.
It's on service delivery, especially on the basic services. 25 years, yes, it's not a long time when you had these backlogs, but we have to prioritize out of the priorities in ensuring that job creation, the reform on the economy, the issue of gender-based violence, crime in general. But those three, to me, are very much important, because without economic growth, you cannot have jobs. Therefore, we have to combine job creation strategy as well as economic growth.
President Ramaphosa is expected to address a joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces on the 20th of June, where he'll give details of what he will be doing to make the nation better in the next 5 years. From Cape Town, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
And back here in Nigeria, bullish trend continues at the Nigerian stock market as shares of MTN Nigeria continue to lift the market. At intraday, the index was up 2.19%. Let's talk to Temple Ashaju and get a sense of what the numbers are saying at the moment. Good afternoon, Temple. So, how sustainable is this positive sentiment we have seen in the market since MTN listed?
Well, I think it's going to be sustainable in the short to medium term, because now we understand that some good traders here have been able to get access to the shares of MTN here on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and whether you trade remotely as well. We understand that some over 80 million units of MTN shares have now been traded in the market, up to date to 144 naira per share in the market, having risen some 9.98% today. That looks sustainable in spite of some uncertainties that surround the company, around the the fact that they have the 50 billion naira outstanding to pay to regulators, the Nigeria Communications Commission, in spite also of the fact that there's a $2 billion fine they also have, or a case worth some $2 billion that they have against the federal government of Nigeria. That's the Attorney General of the Federation. So I think, given the fact that that also seemingly had some kind of impact on its valuations, which was brought to the market at 90 naira, we should still see investors, keying into it, again, because of the stability around their operations, the fact that they've got, the market has got them, has been waiting for them to come to the market all along, and that has now crystallized, that has now happened. And the fact that they've even become available to investors here for trading, for buying and selling in the market. I mean, a retail customer or retail investor actually called me earlier and telling me that, well, that has come true for him. He's been able to buy, albeit at 144 naira, which is expensive. And, so that's something that is good, and it looks like it is sustainable. By the way, analysts already said that there's a valuation, it has a valuation of, or an upside rather, of 250 naira, if not more. So that is something that seems very, very sustainable within the short to medium term. Chimeze.
Well, that's a share a lot of people will not want to let go. And let's continue to keep our fingers crossed and watch what happens in the long run. Thank you. And finally, on the program, Zimbabwe has again hiked fuel prices by around half, the second sharp rise in 4 months, a day after the central bank effectively removed a subsidy by ending oil importers' access to US dollars at a favorable rate. The fuel price rise, likely to push up the country's soaring inflation rate, was accompanied by a plunge in the country's RTG's dollar, which posted its biggest one-day fall against US dollar on the interbank market. Oil firms started buying dollars on the interbank to import fuel on Tuesday, having previously been allowed to use a $1 to RTG's dollar rate. The latest price increase had been expected. It followed a 150% fuel price hike in January, which sparked violent street protests and led to the death of a dozen people after a harsh security crackdown. And that's it on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.